Greetings. This is the Timeshare Traveler. Today is episode 93, halfway point on my 1 year adventure. For those of you who don't know, I'm taking a 1 year of travel. So I'll first describe as my 1 year travel, and then I'll talk to you about where I am at my halfway point of my adventure. I'll give you kind of a status update, and then I'll talk about where I've been, what I've learned, some kind of crazy facts that these are the ones I didn't kind of expect when I started this, but they're kind of interesting I think interesting facts, but I call them crazy. And then where I plan to go for the remaining 6 months of my journey. Before I go into the details, let me tell you a little bit about my channel, and then I'll jump right in. Hi, my name is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. The purpose of this channel is to provide education and knowledge for those interested in timeshares. I've been a timeshare owner for over 15 years. I'm an elite owner with Marriott Vacation Club, Hilton Grand Vacations, and Worldmark by Wyndham. I've also posted over 70 timeshare video reviews of different locations, and I've posted 40 timeshare video tips. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and I can be found at Timeshare Trav on Twitter and Facebook, and my website is www.timesharetraveler.com. Welcome back. Now let's talk about my 1 year adventure. So this, even though this is about timeshare travel and so forth, really it's applicable for anyone. And this 1 year adventure for me is a chance to reinvent myself. I'm in my late 60s, and who do I want to be entering into my 70s is a question I'm sort of talking about. I'm accessing my skills over my life and which ones matter to me. And I'm kind of having fun. Develop my video blog. It's one of the things I wanted to do, which was kind of fun. It's been, it's kind of an update. Not a lot of people my age are doing video blogs, but it's kind of fun to be part of the sort of new wave of way communication happens. What I did was I rented out my house for a year and traveled in timeshares. And by renting out my house, I pretty much, on a budget perspective, it's kind of a wash. The money I get for renting out my house kind of covers my expenses. It's more than my timeshare fees plus additional expenses. So it's kind of a wash doing this. So that's a great thing for me. And I'm taking this time to learn to become a real estate agent in California. So that's kind of my view. Is I'm a real estate investor, so I figured why not leverage my skills in the same way I do my video blog for the timeshare travel. Why don't I leverage my skills of having and managing real estate to help other people? So right where I am right now, I've completed my classes. I've filled out all the background check stuff, and I'm studying for my exam, and I should be able to take my exam when I return from my trip to Hawaii. And then lastly, on a personal level, I'm working on my West Coast swing dancing. I'm an amateur dancer, but I love it, and it's just a good thing, and I'm dancing through Hawaii. So there we have it. That's my adventure in a nutshell. So where am I at my halfway point of my 1 year adventure? Well, here's the main point I want to leave with you, and it's something I think it's good for everyone, regardless of timeshare travel or whatever. I made my dream a reality, and you can also do that. And that it doesn't have to be the same dream as mine, but the point is sometimes it's just a level of putting work in and thinking through what's important to you and executing on that. And that's really all I did. Is I planned this over a 5 year period. It wasn't an accident. I started with 2 week driving trips just to see, well, can I get by? And I did it in such a way that I said, well, I could keep going and not have to go back to my place. So even with the 2 week trip, it was really just a test to see if at the end of 2 weeks I was like, oh, I forgot a bunch of stuff. And I did the first couple times. But anyway, I also downsized my life. I realized how much stuff I had that I didn't need. And I just wanted to feel lightened and have the freedom to travel and enjoy myself. And so that was very important to me. I also learned as much as I could how to book trips for as little as possible. I wanted to be frugal. I wanted to have more time to enjoy and not make this into like a spending splurge. And like I said earlier, I rented out my house, and that covers in so many ways my expenses. So it really has turned out that way that I've been able to do that. I built a support I needed too. There was some work in that. Like for example, my kids I forwarded my mail to my kids' house, and they get my mail, and every now and then they'll open something up that looks critical for me to get, like my uh, car registration renewal, and they'll send me a picture of that, a video, and a picture, and then I can log in and take care of that. So it's worked out well. And I have a management company managing my condo rental, which is where I was living before I started this adventure. So that just works out that I'm not like having to deal with tenant issues. They deal with that. So it allows me that freedom to actually do the traveling. In so many ways, it's just very similar to a lot of people have done, done a RV and have traveled around. So I'm doing similar. So it's not like something that's so brand new or something never thought of. I'm just doing my version of that. And here's the other thing is I've had a chance to stop and sort of look. And again, because I am rethinking my life a bit, I've watched a lot of sunsets in many different locations. It's surprising, if you put the effort in, you actually can. And it gives you a moment every day to pause and reflect and enjoy the end of a day. And that's really, I think, one of the things about my adventure that I recommend, even if you're not on an adventure, if you can make that part of your daily routine, I think that is really a healthy thing. Let's now talk about where have I been. Well, at the end of March, beginning of June, I was on Kauai in the Big Island. I spent a little over 2.5 months in Hawaii. It's my favorite spot because I'm kind of a hyper person, and Hawaii is kind of a slow down, take it easy kind of place. And so that really works well with me, to sort of offset my personality and give me a chance to sort of get some balance to, be hyper when I need to be, but be relaxed as part of the island culture. And then June, July, and August, I planned a trip to my family reunion and my high school reunion. It just happened to be my 50th high school reunion and my annual family reunion were a little more than 1 week apart, and I was able to do a trip. And this was a driving trip, timeshare stays in California, Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee, Illinois, Colorado, Utah, and then back to California. And in September, I'm currently in Maui on another Hawaii trip again. I love coming to Hawaii. I love that. But anyway, that's where I've been. And let me go to the next slide. What have I learned? Well, on the timeshare side, I've learned a lot of new tricks on better ways to use my timeshares, and I've tried to share those as I've picked them up. How to book Marriott using WorldMark points, Vacasa bookings, Wyndham Rewards, so it's really effectively free week stay, booking resorts using hotel points, and how to better book Hilton reservations, including the Diamond Resorts. And I've learned a lot about owner updates about HGV Max and Abound by Marriott. And the last thing is you can't watch too many sunsets. They don't get old. They really don't. I watched them over lakes. I watched them over the ocean. I've watched them over mountains. It's just amazing. And I continue to learn a lot about, I worked on my California real estate license. Those are more my personal things that I'm working on as far as changing my career to that sort of next phase. And again, I highly recommend if you can at least try to incorporate some of the things I've done in my sort of breakaway adventure. You can actually do that on an ongoing basis. And I did that even throughout my career when I was sort of more part of corporate America. I would try to balance my own career development with that. And this was just sort of a reset as I moved out of corporate America and more of an entrepreneur. Next, I'll talk about my crazy facts. I mean, these are just things I was like, kind of like, really? Like, I completed my 100th resort stay and video. I haven't published them all yet, but I completed it. And that doesn't include 100 different resorts. Sometimes that's one resort I'd stayed in different size units. But we're getting close to 100 different locations, which I think that's almost crazy, probably amazing, maybe obsessive. All of the above. And I've done those reviews in a little over 2 years, so that's a lot of different traveling about, but I've really enjoyed it, had a great time. And I've done 2 cross-country trips in the last two years and stayed in 35 different timeshares / room combinations over the last 6 months. That 35 different times, that's a lot. And I was, I was doing 2 to 3 days when I was doing my driving trip, 2 to 3 days. Then I drive for 8 hours, then 2 to 3 days. So you can see that I would, in a half a year, which is 26 weeks, I would have stayed in more than 26 timeshares. I've attended at least 15 timeshare presentations. I actually didn't want to count, and I was offered them everywhere, and I took them partially for the benefits that I've talked about, but partially I actually enjoy. It's part of this whole trip. I'm trying to learn, and so I learned a lot from the timeshare salespeople. Particularly, they know that I know a lot, and so they're trying to be helpful, and I've learned a lot of things, and I talked about some of those in one of my last in my prior slide. So, but I did do that, and I'm hit my 93rd episode for tips for almost anyone who travels in timeshares, and I really enjoy that. It really helps me learn, because in some ways, for me to share what I know, I have to make sure I really know it. And so that's been really helpful. And I would never have thought I would be at 93 episodes so far. It's been fun building the video blog, and I hope you've enjoyed following along with me. And lastly, where do I plan to go? So I still have 6 months left. So I'm going to be heading over to the Big Island in just a day, tomorrow. And I'll be there for the last little bit of September, October, and a little bit of November. And I'm looking for the perfect cup of Kona coffee. And so I'll be going to a lot of the coffee. I like to go to the farms and actually taste their coffee. And I love the sunsets on the Big Island. I'm in Waikoloa and Kona. And Waikoloa, it's really dry, so there's wonderful sunsets. And it's not just a sunset, it's after the sun sets that some of the red sky really, really takes off. So I find that to be beautiful. I also like the beaches, the rocks, because the waves roll up the rocks and roll down, and they make kind of a sound of a fountain as they go up and down. And I like that sound. It's very calming. And then after that, I'm going to do a short trip to Arizona. I have a trip planned to Myrtle Beach for several weeks to meet with my brother and enjoy the East Coast beaches. And then I'm going to be in Monterey, California, right on the ocean at one of the places. I have a trip scheduled to Southern California, and then I have a trip to Oahu with stops in Molokai and Kauai. So that rounds out my remaining six months. No cross-country trips, but other than that, we'll be flying to Myrtle Beach. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give it a like, and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. I hope you're enjoying my travels and experiences.